Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of Create Expectations. If you have not watched part one, you know that I'm going to tell you to go to Zara's channel and watch part
hmm
one first and get all of the context. You will understand why I'm grumpy today. Hit subscribe on his channel and then come back and enjoy me being grumpy some more.
Yeah, for my part, I find it extremely enjoyable that you're grumpy.
Sounds facetious.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
so,
Cool.
so, are you ready to just jump to the character review? We normally do it on my channel, but
I know, but we went on rant.
I know we totally did. You want to just jump over there though?
Yeah, let's do it.
Very good. So okay, so whoa, we're in the game madness.
Crazy.
So Jyn, why are
Jyn.
we talking about Jyn? She looks just, you know what? She looks grumpy too.
You know what? If you like, look at her face. She's totally grumpy. I would be grumpy too if I got blown up.
This isn't post getting blown up Jyn though. Like
Just saying.
I'm just saying. Here, I'll zoom in on her face here, real quick.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she doesn't look happy.
No, that's actually a really disturbing uh, facial expression.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
This is
She just looks
th-
angry.
she does. And honestly, that fits the first half of the movie though.
It does. That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Um, okay, so we're talking about Jin because she
hmm
may or may not be related to a character that we're getting to Radis.
Yeah. So, the one thing I know that you don't like to be spoiled on the kit, but you actually told me about having been spoiled on this part of the kit. So,
Yes,
um,
yes.
so when she's with Admiral Radis, she
Mhm.
can't be defeated. Now, I'm guessing. I really, really wish that CG would go in and change the name, like the wording on some of these kits, because, like Mandalorian, for
Mhm.
instance, Mando, his disintegrate just says instantly defeats character. And so,
Ah,
so there are other. So that's why we thought that Jedi Knight Anakin, for instance, under
mhm.
Qui Gon, would be immune to Mando because Qui Gon's kit says they can't be defeated,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it's the same exact wording from Radis versus Jin. But I'm guessing that the same exact exception to the rule is going to be in place.
Right. And like I would assume like an annihilate would work.
hmm
Um would cat's instant kill work?
Cat's instant kill would work. Though I think she'd be eligible for reviving at that. Like there's a
Right.
thing in his kit that would revive her potentially.
Ah.
But I think I would be interested to see, like my guess is that, for instance, like I don't think Supreme Leader Kylo would kill her or raise Whirlwind.
Oh, that's interesting.
We'd have to see, but I'm guessing not. So
Interesting.
she's an
Yes.
interesting character, though. Actually, there's a lot going on for an older kid. She's very interesting.
Well, and so the reason why that stood out to me, I mean, one, it was the only thing that I had spoiled about Radix's kit. Um, because it just happened to open a Discord server and it was right there.
Mm.
So spoiled. But immediately my thought was that was interesting because she has a revive in her kit. So you kill Radis, she revives Radis.
hmm
Assuming you're not doing a non-revive type um, kill on him.
Oh yeah, it's very interesting, and one of the big question marks about Radis, we can't really get into all of this. Like he does some interesting things.
Mhm.
I just don't know. Like his stats had better be crazy good, or at least his damage modifiers or something for some of the things that he does. Like, so some of the things they refer to, I'm like, well, I mean, he's gonna be so obnoxiously, like he's gonna be so stupid if he doesn't have a lot of stats. I'll
Mhm.
talk about that. I'm gonna make a video about him, about his kit and everything that I'll release earlier than this video is being released. But um, we're talking about Jin though, so it's a cool thing because they both have revives in their kit, and
Mhm.
because she can't be killed, she could just keep reviving other people, including Radis.
Right. And he could, I don't know what his kit is, but I assume he could revive her. I guess she can't be killed, so he could keep reviving.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Don't spoil it.
There's like a mini ultimate that he has.
Interesting.
I'll just say that involves some of that. So,
Interesting.
anyways, but she's got some cool stuff, and she actually they kind of hinted at this. In fact, now that I'm thinking of it, remember how they gave her an Omicron, which is worthless, but
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it won't be worthless. We'll have to take another look at that once. Now that we have Radis coming out, because maybe in the context of
Of
Radis, maybe
his.
that, yeah.
What's her Omicron even do?
I don't. I think it's territory wars, isn't it?
Yeah. Um, Max health and potency and 20 speed. Whenever
Oh,
their buff expires during an enemy turn, she gains turn meter. For all Rogue One, whenever she critically hits an enemy, they all recover 10% health and gain additional bonuses.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I haven't read his kit, so
Okay. I don't. I don't predict it's going to be that usable with him, but who knows?
okay.
It's hard to predict these things.
Well, and he's Grand Arena for his Omicron.
He is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting though. So, first off, can I just add, this is totally besides the subject.
Mm-hmm.
What pieces of gear does she need? Are any of those like easy to fill?
Yes.
How do you only have 3 of those? I have like 30.
What do you mean? Well,
You
they're
have
not
3?
crafted. I just don't have them crafted.
Yeah, I have a ton of salvage too.
Uh, yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
easy. Should I just do it?
oh, you don't need to. I was just curious. Like I saw you upgrade a character the other day that just like didn't have any pieces, and I'm like, wow, there, you could have. The thing is, those gear pieces can make her ship hit stronger, like hit harder and stuff. So
Oh yeah, and I use her ship, don't I?
you do. I
Okay.
mean, and it does a lot of damage. So, whoa,
Okay.
wow. Well, we can't do a second take now.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what else you know about her kit, because I actually learned something really interesting about her kit the other day. How that I'll mention to you.
Okay. Okay,
But
so
I
like
want to
I said,
see. I'll give you the chance.
she has the revive on her first special, so her rebel counterattack. This one is the one with the revive.
And it's an AoE.
It's an AoE. You're giving 100% turn meter to the target ally that you are, you know, whatever, targeting. And then she also has turn meter removal in her kit. So her second special does turn meter removal. And then she gains that much turn meter herself.
Yeah, so it's like if they have 100% turn meter and she just happens to be like one step ahead of them,
Mm-hmm.
then she'll just get another turn right away.
Yeah. So, and it's, I've totally forgot about this, that it stuns on a critical hit.
Yeah, she's got some good control. I actually really like her
Mm-hmm.
leadership as well. In 5v5, I've always wanted to find a good way to use her.
So I obviously don't have the Zeta on her. Do you have the Zeta on her?
I don't have any of her Zetas, no.
Okay.
No,
Oh yeah. This
but
is a good leader. I
yeah,
forgot about
so
this.
enemies that suffer debuffs during rebel allies' turns have a 50% chance to also become exposed. Like the expose is like you can land so many exposes with like Cassian, for instance. Like he
Mm-hmm.
lands a bunch of them, and Chirrut giving the debuffs back to people, and like your whole team is debuffing them the whole time, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a ton of expose. It's really fun. It just like it lacks so much sustainability. Like it's just older. Like they just need a little bit of a boost. So I'm kind of in a way I'm sad because we're not going to be using her as lead with Radis. It looks like so.
Right,
It is cool.
she'll go under him.
Like, but uh,
Anyway.
so I've also always liked her unique. Actually, her Zeta on the unique is if I use like this is something that could potentially just screw your opponent if they weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, if they don't pay attention to what the Zeta
Oh,
is.
so this is one I'm going to be applying immediately, actually, because now it makes sense. Rogue One allies are immune to buff immunity. So the whole team,
Mm,
now her whole team, and it's on her unique, and she can't ever die. So the whole team basically is going to be immune to buff immunity. And that's the new, like, that was her little like boost that they gave her.
right. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
And I wondered why it wasn't on her leadership. It makes a lot more sense now. They knew Radis was coming out.
Right.
But then before that, though, it used to just be that last line: Jyn is immune to stun.
Right. And gains 10% potency. Yeah. Yeah. Jyn
Well,
is
yeah,
just
that's all it was, like for one Zeta. And actually, if you use her a lot, like I've been in situations where I'm like, oh, that would be nice to be able to stun her because she does things that you don't want her to do. You want to be able to control her, and if you can't, it gets more difficult. So, okay, so you want to hear the thing that I learned about
yeah.
her? Okay, so go back to her first special.
Okay. This
So
one.
this was in 3v3 on my alt. I think I used Nest to kill like a Rolo team, but Jyn was on the team, and I was like, oh, we have to kill Jyn first. We have to kill Jyn first because she's going to revive. And
Mhm.
what I learned is she actually won't ever use this if there's only a single target. Like if you're using Nest, she doesn't,
Right.
because it's an AoE. The AI just
Oh.
won't hit that button. So if you're soloing a team with Jyn on it,
Hmm.
you don't have to worry about her reviving anyone.
Because they won't use the AoE.
Yeah, because she'll never use the AoE.
That's interesting. I wonder if they would change that with Radis coming out.
They might, yeah. So I guess don't take what I just said for gospel, but it is it
As
is
of
just an
right
interesting thing.
now,
What does her basic do? I don't remember.
um, gain advantage.
Oh my gosh, that is as generic as it gets.
Yeah,
Cool,
lame. Cool. Yeah, so
cool, and
she's
lame.
cool and lame. She's gonna see some more time out, I guess.
Hopefully she'll be. Hopefully they'll edit the RBF
Oh,
off
poor
her.
Jyn. She's just grumpy, man.
Right.
Nothing
That's what
wrong
I
with being
said.
grumpy.
Oh, and by the way, I wanted to shout out your credit totals keep being reduced, which is great. It means you're buying mods with them. It's great.
Yeah. And then selling them and getting credits back.
Oh, stop. You just sent me a bunch of screenshots of really badass mods that you rolled, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I did get some good ones. Okay, cool.
Okay, it's time for me to roll my eyes, dear Lord. Okay, so let's go to the next segment, which is what? Pack?
You want to do the pack? Let's
Yeah,
do the pack.
yeah, go skipping speed GAC, because screw that.
All
The
right,
stick.
pack it is.
Very
That's
good.
not the pack. Okay, so these should still have like 4-ish days left on them by the time this is out.
Oh yeah, I've paid no attention to these at all.
Right. So there's
Champion.
4. And so first of all, very interesting. So you've got your Geo faction, Night Sister Separatist, and Imperial Trooper. So there's 5 in each one that you can get.
Could
And
you
you
click on
get,
one just for an example?
yeah, so like Imperial Troopers, for example,
All right, here I gotta resize this.
you would get
That's
Death
what.
Trooper. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Resize
good.
away. So Imperial Trooper, for example, you get Veers, Piet, Stark, Death Trooper, and range. And you do get each character anywhere between 10 and 40 shards.
Okay, so you actually. Oh, it even says that each
It-
pack guarantees at least 10 shards of each character. Nice.
Yeah. And math wise, 10 shards of a character is 400 crystals. So you are coming out like this is a deal, even if you only get 10, assuming you need all 5, right? Like this is the caveat, right? So what I found was interesting though, and I don't know why they did this. I'll just show you. So that you get 10 minimum. The separatist one, it's 5 for Grievous. I assume this is because he is a fleet farmable, like fleet token farmable character.
Yeah, he's just considered a rarer character. Like he takes like 7 months to farm from the start. Like I always advise new players, like even if you're not planning on Separatists anytime too soon, like farm Grievous shards the second you have fleet.
Right. So that one I understood. And maybe I'm just like completely missing something. Night Sisters, also same idea. You get 10 minimum for each. The Geos, you get 15. 15 to 60. I don't know why this is.
They're in easy places to farm all of them, maybe, except for the Brood Alpha is actually he's really tough to farm at the time that, like, a lot of times you want to farm him early on in your account life, and because he costs 16 Cantina energy, it does feel really bad to farm him early. So that's a nice one. The other ones are all like really easy to farm, like in shops, like in non-hard node areas, is my
Right.
guess.
So maybe that's why. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that the Geos you get 15. So
Huh.
this is actually even more of a deal, in my opinion,
So it's
if you
15
need
to
Geos.
60 on these ones. Are
Yeah.
all the other ones to 60? Is that the range 10 to
No,
60?
it's 10 to 40.
Except for Grievous, of course, who's
Right.
halved.
Who's halved?
Huh.
Isn't that interesting?
Okay, so if you're a brand new player, these are actually, and you want to spend some money,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the Zetas to actually make these teams operational.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I feel
Well,
a lot of times people will buy a character and they're like, "Yes, I have this character," and then I'm like, "Okay, so why don't you have any Zetas on them?" They're like, "Well, I don't have Zetas at
right,
all. Like, I'm brand new."
right. So fair, but would like I would feel like if I was farming the faction of whichever one, if I needed all five and I didn't have like I would just buy it even if I wasn't close to finishing them. I would still buy it because it's shortening my farm.
Yeah.
Like assuming it was like something I was actively working on, I mean.
Sure. Well, some of them, it's like, well, there's very limited value to it. Like, if something's in the Galactic War store, whatever it's
Right.
called, like that one, it's like there's very limited value to actually, even if it is quote unquote steal crystals wise, there's very
Mm-hmm.
limited value to actually purchasing those shards because you farm them so fast, like so easily, that it's almost not worth spending anything on them.
But theoretically, you are also farming other things in the Galactic War store,
Okay, so
depending on what your account status is.
sure. I mean, there's a very limited number of characters that even matter in that store, but
True.
um, I guess they all matter at this point. But okay, so which one, if a new player was like, hey, I don't have any of these, which one would you advise them to go for?
Either separatists or troopers. The only thing I don't like about the trooper one is that it's death trooper and not dark. But dark is pretty quick to get. He's on a lower node to farm.
Mm-hmm.
So he's pretty attainable. And isn't he? I think they shuffled him into one of the like starter characters now.
Oh, maybe I don't actually know about the starter character, but yeah, he's in an early node, so you
Yeah.
could be farming him early and often. Yeah, okay, so Separatist, can you click on that one real quick?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I will say about Separatists is they are Zeta heavy. And if
That's
you're
true.
trying to, like, so Newt wants his, you can kind of ignore for a little bit, but that really, like, his Zeta is almost what makes him good in the context of Grievous. Like, this is actually the Grievous team, by the way, guys, until you
Mm-hmm.
eventually make the decision if you want BB-8, but that'll be way down the line. Grievous wants both of his. B1 absolutely needs his. B2 also needs his. Magna Guard you should skip, but otherwise, like, you want 4 or 5 Zetas on this team,
Yeah.
as opposed to troopers. You get by with, well, you need 2, I guess, because Piet doesn't need his AoE, but he does need his Emperor's Trap one, and Veers, of course, needs his leadership. So, or Zeta is unique. One way or another, you need his Veers is Zeta, and you
Mm-hmm.
need one of Piet's, but otherwise, that one's easy. And these are all on like hard nodes, I think. Well,
Yeah.
Stark is in what, like Guild Store or something, and like they're
So
relatively difficult to farm, like slow farms. So
yeah, and I feel like also this just makes sense I don't know. I feel like Troopers is just makes more sense to go for, assuming like the
Well,
Zeta, taking into account the Zetas.
well, troopers are great because I mean the requirement characters and they fit on a ton of different teams.
Yeah.
Piet's one of like the few marquee characters who's like I don't know. I see people say like that he's S tier, and I wouldn't maybe say he's like quite that level. Like he's not as good as Jedi Knight Luke. Like he's just not. But he does facilitate quite a bit. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's the pilot for the admiral whatever for the best ship, the best fleet in the game currently. They're pilots. At least Death Trooper is like this.
Mm-hmm.
Imperial Troopers are a really good fundamental team to have, and
Yeah.
you only have to have one of them fast in order to make them good.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think if you need these, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
actually, they're if you want to spend crystals on characters. Otherwise, I will say this though, they are all very, very, very easily farmable. None of
Right.
them are like, oh my gosh, except for Grievous, but they don't make him that available anyways.
Right. They
Here,
have
frankly.
his drops. So
Yep.
okay.
Cool.
Cool. So that is the pack.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? Viewer questions?
Oh yeah, we got viewer questions, and then we have I don't know 9-ish minutes for viewer questions plus the roast.
Oh boy. 9-ish minutes for all of that?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, man.
boy. Okay. So do we want to do one question?
Sure.
Okay. You pick then.
Oh, maybe for our bonus episode, one of them can be all roster roasts, and one of them could be all viewer questions.
Yeah. So if you have
Mhm.
questions, put
Yeah,
them in the comments.
I call it a bonus episode. It's just going to be released at the same time as our normal episode, though. So
Right. We're just recording them in advance.
we're just framing it as bonus. So
Uh, okay. So you pick the question and then
excuse me.
we'll.
There's one that's easy to read and the one that's not. So, well, if we're looking at time, so all right. John Pritchard says, do you guys worry that the game has been in a lull for quite a while now? The Inquisitors don't seem to have gone down well, and communication from CG has seemed to have fallen off a cliff. That's it. We have actually addressed a lot of this, but what are your thoughts, Sarah?
Mm, I would say that the communication is definitely in a lull. I don't know if the game is in a lull. It is in the sense that, excuse me, sorry, that we're kind of in this weird zone where we're just getting marquee characters thrown at us, which is really reminiscent of when the Old Republic era stuff started happening in
Sure.
2018. Uh, so
Gosh, we've been playing this game forever, Sarah.
I know we have. um, so it seems very reminiscent of that, where we're just getting all these characters thrown at us and we don't really know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I personally think that we're all just kind of like waiting in limbo because we know something is coming, but we don't know what it is. And we're all just kind of, other than, Datacrons because of the leak, we're all just a little bit maybe more on edge in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I would love more communication. I think that is actually my biggest issue right now is we are not getting enough communication.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and CG has always just been atrocious at it. Whether it's because they just don't value it as much, like it doesn't make as much money for them. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have just determined they're like, well, we're not going to spend we're not going to hire like 5 more people to communicate. Like screw that. We don't want to just hemorrhage money because it's a business. Or they just can't get it together. Or and actually, I think that this might be the number one thing. In fact, is I think that it's very possible that CG is limited on how much communication they can get out because they have so many people they're answerable to because like you
Yeah.
know because Disney has to have a say, and so does Lucasfilm, and so does EA, and so does
Mm-hmm.
CG. Obviously, all the different levels of approval have to go down, and so I don't mean to make excuses. Like, they are making so much money off of a mobile game that I
Mm-hmm.
think that they should they should be working really hard on that and doing a lot better. That being said, I've also played a lot of games that have way 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 worse communication too. Like this
Right.
this might not be the very best game for it, but it is also certainly not the worst. Um, I guess I don't feel like the game is in a lull. I guess my guess, and I don't know John Pritchard, but if if I had to guess, I would guess that he doesn't care as much about GAC because I mean, GAC has been so crazy interesting with all the Omicrons and all the different characters coming out that that change interactions in GAC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying that the person asking the question hates it or that they're bad at it. I'm just saying, like, I find it hard to believe that someone who doesn't that someone would ask that who doesn't if they unless they don't love GAC, because I have been loving all the different updates that they've given us, and I mean, they're giving us time to catch up. They're giving people time to catch up, which people were demanding for such a long time. So we're getting interesting characters. I don't feel like it's in a lull. There, though, I agree. Inquisitors, I've said it before
Mm-hmm.
on the previous segment. Most boring faction, least exciting faction in the world at any point, least hype. I was more excited about the prepared squad from Solo. Like,
Well, and I mean, just with them with that squad too, like I still don't even know how they work.
no, and I've tried not to learn too much because it's like it's all gonna change once Grand Inquisitor's out.
Right. Well, like I was just using them for whatever galactic challenge it was that we had to use them for. And I was like, what does this even do? And I'm still doing that after using them however many times we had to use them in Conquest. And I did all
Yeah,
of the Inquisitor feats in Conquest.
yeah.
So I used them so many freaking times. I'm like, I still don't know what you do. I know that this button does an AoE and this button does not. Like,
What would you say you do here?
yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's in a lull per se. The communication is definitely in a Sahara desert.
Like a like there's more than one.
I was gonna say a desert and then I added a name, and these things just happen. Just go with it.
Okay, because I'm afraid of you today, I'm gonna just let it slide.
Thanks.
All right, so should we roster?
Yeah,
Roast. Hmm, I'm not wording well today.
you know what? I'm gonna let it slide.
You don't know how relieved I feel right now.
All right, so I've got the roster.
All right, I'm blanking out our faces for a minute so we can see. So
Hmm.
we're looking at a roster from Hyperion.
Hmm.
He's from Guardians of the Grey, and he's got Sith Eternal,
Hmm.
4.7 mil. All right,
Hmm. Hmm. Rhodium 2. So let's go. Let's go to our favorite to ships.
Rhodium 2 or Rhodium as well.
Rhodium.
Hmm.
Duh.
Pardon me being stupid. All right, yeah. What ships do they got?
Okay. Okay, so capital ships.
Oh, when you click on that, there's only 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, but are they all? Yeah, they're all 7-star, right? I'm not crazy.
Yeah, okay, so none of the, I guess you could call them like the bonus ships. Like Radis and Finalize are kind of luxury ships, and
Mm-hmm.
Executor is honestly like I was trying to get it really hard with my Prevailman account at 4 million, and it's just very difficult to get the Executor
Right.
much earlier than that. So okay, this is okay, and you know Grievous is relics,
Mm-hmm.
Kenobi is relics. This is an okay number of ships to have at this GP, actually.
Okay.
All right, so clearly not farming
Right.
anything.
Not going for first order or
Oh man.
resistance.
Okay, so you don't. You're like, okay,
Oh,
I
oh
have
no.
I have the negotiator, but I don't want it to be good, so I'm gonna just not farm the Y wing. Like,
Sad.
I am deliberately just shooting myself in the foot because I don't like ships that don't require me to gear pilots.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a pilotless ship, so it's one farm, not two.
Those should be the automatic ist farms out
Mm-hmm.
there, in my opinion. The pilot free because you don't have to gear pilots and you don't have, yeah.
Well, I mean, the vulture, whatever, vulture droid and hyena bomber are farmed, so and the rebel
Okay.
Y wing. So, but like, do the battle bee. I'm just confused. Why would you would do some pilotless ships and not
Like
others?
that'll be the
And like,
Scrivener.
why would you do the rebel Y wing one when your home one is what, gear 7, gear 8, whatever that is, but your negotiator's relic? Like, take the battle
Right.
bee.
Right. What's the gear on that Biggs X-wing? It's like one row down. Oh, that's Wedge.
There.
Okay, so
I can't tell what that is. It's
that's
purple.
8 or 9. I can't tell from here. It's 9 because Kylo right next to him is 8. Um, okay, and their Phoenix is not good. Their U-wing is not good. Their I saw Biston wasn't good.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. And then we have relict Sith, but not farmed ships.
oh man,
I
Relic
feel like
7 Marauder. Like, what are you doing, man? Like,
that's
get
that's that's C.
get off your ass. No, get off your ass and farm the ship because it's actually good. Like, 2 stars is so atrocious. Ugh. Like, at least get it to 5 stars so you get the second reinforcement ability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so nice. Razor Crest is kind of farmed. Like that's good. That's a good sign, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that it's gonna do you any good with the other crap, but like shuttle. Look at his Empire Emperor shuttle. It has to come in from reinforcements almost to work the way you want it to, and I guess
Oops,
there's some
sorry.
builds that don't. But he has Relic 7 on Emperor, Relic
Yep.
3 on Royal Guard. Let's not farm the shuttle though, because why would we want a good Imperial ship? Okay,
All right.
good
Okay.
to know. Good to know that you don't care about ships, just like everyone else.
I will say I did not care about ships, and I still hate ships, and it is a big regret.
Yeah,
So
I'm like staring death in the face right now, trying to contemplate putting Relic 8 on Tarkin. Like, kill me now. But all right, let's
uh,
look at characters, shall we?
okay.
I know,
So
top end problems is so stupid, man.
so interesting tactic, by the way, that was brought up, and I did not tell you about this beforehand, so I'm telling you about it now. Do we want to reverse this and look at the bottom first to see what they're not working on?
So I mean, we kind of can, but the thing is, if they haven't unlocked it, then we just won't notice it anyways. Like I remember,
That's true.
I did a review on someone once, and they'd never unlocked either Revan, and I just didn't catch it
Okay.
because like they didn't show up anywhere because they weren't on the bottom of the roster. So that can work, and at the same time, it's you know, like if they haven't unlocked Treya, for instance, they
Right, it
just
won't
haven't
show
clicked
up.
the button. Yeah, she just won't show up, and then we won't notice her because she's not like a prominent, really important character. So we can, but could we look at the modding on Grievous real quick,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah, we can. We can.
Okay, health, that's good. Um, okay, all right, we can move on from that. That's fine.
Okay. Cool.
That's acceptable.
Should we look at the modding on C?
Yes. Hopefully, it's modded in the same direction. All
Okay.
right.
Okay. Cool. That's good.
Maybe get a little more speed on him, but that's fine. That's fine. All right. All right. Cool. So we could take a break from the roast for just like 2 seconds, like a quick breath. Okay, back to being a dick.
Back to being
So,
a dick. Okay. Cool.
all right. So you have the Xenon Sidious. I mean, that's fine because the event for for Sith Eternal can be really obnoxious. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
2 Zetas on HK at this GP level seems a little egregious, especially because you don't have high relics on him. It's like, if you want him to be useful, maybe put higher relics on him. But that's probably fine. Yeah, no relics on Thrawn, which one of them is actually really, really, really good.
No Zetas, you mean?
Oh, I said relics?
Yeah, you said the
I
relics.
just heard myself. Yeah, you're right.
Um, okay. Okay.
Okay, so you have the Zeta on Stark and on Maul, or Darth Maul.
Okay.
All right, so I'm increasingly appalled as we continue to go,
As we
to
continue
move down.
continue to
You have,
scroll.
oh, you have the Zeta on 3PO. No! One of them is fine. The other one is the stupidest Zeta in the game, maybe.
Ugh.
Because you don't ever... it's such a missed opportunity. You never use 3PO with R2D2. That never happens. They just don't have the right synergy, and that's... They have a Zeta for it. Wait a minute. Wait. They don't... Go scroll all the way down. I don't know what Fretful Mediator Zeta or Omega is, but you're telling me you have the Zeta for both of his Zetas, but you can't put an Omega on that character, on that ability?
That would be correct.
I'm embarrassed. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's... Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that was. Okay, so 2 on Asajj. I don't know. I feel like Zeta allocation is something that people struggle so hard on,
Well,
honestly.
and I feel like for smaller accounts and newer accounts, it's important because like I don't have a Zeta problem in
Right.
terms of like if a new character comes out and they need 4 Zetas, I can do it.
Yeah.
But it's harder for newer accounts because you're still building that. Oh yeah, Chirpa Ami.
Yeah, the chirp. Oh, so we're gonna invite the wrath of certain
You want to
people.
look at the speed?
Oh, no, I mean the Pet Blue's way. It doesn't. It's gonna be bad. So Treya only has 1 Zeta
Yeah.
on her, but
Mhm.
Asajj and Talzin both have 2.
Yeah. And I feel like there are a lot of Zetas being thrown around on characters that aren't done being geared.
There are a lot of Zetas on this account in general, but
Yeah.
I'm like, is the one on Mission really more important than the one on Treya? Like both of Treyas are so important, and the one on Canderous, ugh, you probably did that just to unlock Malik without having to put more
And
gear on
only one,
Canderous.
which one on Ray do you have?
Oh,
The
that's the one you need to.
the leader.
The other 2 are very important. But
But I mean, she's not geared.
no, honestly, I'm not like the Karth one is more like,
Oh.
oh, look at their Wampa Omicron. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
That's... He's like, I have some health.
Oh
My
man.
health is plural, at least.
My health is plural.
I have more than 1 health. Uh, gosh, Sarah,
Ah,
we've gone way over time. Let's click on.
okay.
Could we click on Pet Blue real quick?
Yeah, we can click on Paplu. Damn it. Here you go.
Oh, that's a little faster than I had expected. I mean, he's gonna end up with what, another 50, another 8. So he's gonna be pushing 300. I mean, I don't know what you expect to be beating with like a 280 speed Peplu, but I wish you well.
All right.
I secretly don't. Also, there's an Omega problem on this account. Like Peplu doesn't have his Omega there either.
Yeah, so we're throwing around Zetas, but no Omegas. Oh
Yeah.
man. I need to just stop scrolling.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
however
can't.
long you want your video to be, it's fine with me, Sarah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to look at before we
You can
before we
click on the
call it?
bottom now. If do you wanna? So Item
Okay.
Versio at 3 stars has her Omi, dear lord.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. See,
So,
this doesn't mean a whole lot to me because it's like, well, they shouldn't really be gearing Bad Batch this level, or Bo-Katan for that matter.
but also not working on First Order for the ships.
I mean,
So,
that's also, I mean, I would advise actually working on that, but that's, I would advise you to actually farm some things ever. Like you bought the hyperdrive bundle and you think that's enough, but it's not. So farm things, please. Like,
poor Mara.
this is
Mara.
why I don't want to do. This just makes me sad, Sarah. Can we just hang it up?
Yeah, we can hang it up.
All right, guys.
Sad.
I hope you enjoyed the bonus 10 minutes today.
And now you're
Let's-
grumpy.
The roster host always makes me grumpy.
I know. That's great. All right,
so-
that's it.
Goodbye.